You are now tuned in to United Football Media. Tell me about it. The number one wraparound show covering the number one spring football league, the UFL. We are here Monday morning, back and better than ever. Another exciting week of the United Football League to cover. We're going to jump right in as I represent for amazing local spot up in Kittery, Maine, Warren's Seafood and Ale House on my shirt. That's the number one local seafood spot up there. And I want to talk about who I think is the number one team in the UFL, despite, a lot of people. I was looking in the UFL, the United Football Media group chat we're all putting together. We're getting our power rankings ready to post later on this week. And I wasn't seeing very many people with the bravery to put this vote out there. But dang it, I got the Battlehawks number one because they went out there and put a country whooping on the Showboats in the second half. This team that we had heard so much about in the preseason. Boats hung with them. They fought to keep their season alive in the first half. But the Battlehawks ran away 12 points in the fourth quarter. AJ McCarron, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, 35 completions on just 222 yards. Kind of nasty work. But the Battlehawks looked extremely powerful. They already looked good and only now look better because one of the top playmakers in the UFL made his return this weekend, Wk4 Pearson, and that guy had 10 catches right off the bat. Amazing stuff. Was a weapon, was making plays for them, and was a decoy on many other plays. Couldn't believe what I was saying. They also got this new running back, Sailors, who also went over 100 yards, just like Mateo Durant did, almost 7 yards per carry. They're getting 100 yards with separate different backs, running backs, whoever they put in. Hakeem Butler had another good game. That connection continues to develop. It doesn't surprise me that the two teams with the two best offensive lines in the league, the Battlehawks and the Stallions, are two most powerful teams and seem to be on a collision course, because the two worst teams, I think most people would say, the Boats and the Roughnecks, got two of the worst offensive lines. And one of the teams that has a chance to break into the upper tier, but are being held back because of their offensive line, that being the Panthers. It just goes to show you how crucial the trenches could be. The Battlehawks offensive line, huge shout out, kept AJ McCarron completely clean, 0 sacks given up. He was out there doing surgery on this Boats defense. The Boats, man, the captain, Brandon, he is going to be up on the bridge. He's just about there. Titanic captain on the bridge, 1,000-yard stare. That window, that glass is about to break. The water going all over him as the ship sinks. Hat cocked off to the side. It is bad news bears down there in Memphis. Tay, I think you're riding with me, right? Number one power rankings this week, Battlehawks. Because I'm telling you, all right, people will say the Stallions, they're undefeated. Well, if not for a 64-yard field goal, the Battlehawks would also be undefeated. And I don't know if this is even a conversation. I don't know if they're even close, if not for that 64-yard field goal. But that's just me. Tay, where are you at on it?
Yeah, I definitely had the Battlehawks number one. I almost did it last week, but I just needed to see it one more week, just to confirm that. But yeah, just some recap on this game. AJ McCarron, yeah, he only had about 4 or 5 yards per completion or whatever. But like, did they really need him to air it out? Like, I mean, I felt like they won it in the first quarter, honestly. Like, they had that 17-point first quarter. And after that, they pretty much just cruised through. And in the fourth quarter, when it was time to take off, like they have been doing, they took off. They scored 12 unanswered points, only points in the second half for both teams. So yeah, like I said at the beginning of season 2 as well, Hakeem Butler and Wk4 Pearson. This isn't even the best that this core could be. Like, they didn't even really. I feel like it could be better than this. Yeah, Wk4 Pearson, first game back, 10 catches, 70 yards and a touchdown. And they ran the ball very well. Jacob Sailors, 103 rushing yards, 15 carries, and he had a 57-yarder. That was a great run. But yeah, like when you got such a elite offense like this, like yeah, even though they don't have the best record, you can kind of see they are the best team. Like I do think the Battlehawks are the best team. And yeah, the Showboats, they couldn't really get it going. And Case Cookins got hurt in that game as well. Like they couldn't really get it going. They had solid success running the ball and whatnot, but I don't know, like just that fourth quarter, like they just kind of fell apart because the game was somewhat close, or it was close at halftime, but you got to score second half points too. Like it's gonna be really hard to win a game without scoring anything in the second half. But like I expected that though. Battlehawks were the better team. I think we all picked Battlehawks. So yeah, I do have the number one on my power ranking.
You cannot say enough about that Battlehawks offensive line in this game. When you got a running back who's going for 6 yards a carry, getting over 100 yards, and also you give up no sacks. Just a master class performance by that offensive line. What'd you think there, Axe?
Yeah, very impressed with the Battlehawks. We'll discuss if I feel like they're number one. I still believe the Stallions are, but I like to give credit to the Battlehawks. Elite offensively. Once again, Akeem Butler, Jacour Pearson, and Aikman didn't even have a great game today. Just the depth that the Battlehawks have at receiver. That makes them so dangerous. And then their running game had another running back go over 100 yards. Two different running backs to do it. The only two running backs in the UFL that's done it this year. So very impressive performances by them. Yeah, St. Louis is dangerous. They're definitely looking like they might host the Super Bowl. I mean, not the Super Bowl, their championship game at home. That's what it's looking like.
And that would be insanity. We might get up towards 50,000 if that happens. Would be a heck of a scene.
Yeah.
Drew, I know you're having yourself a fine weekend off of this result.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to our guy. That is a Showboats fanatic or Showboats show host, and I've said it before. I'll say it again. Anytime Memphis loses, the world wins, and this is no different. This is no different. Shout out to the Battlehawks. The Battlehawks look like Tay pretty much said they would in the in I guess the beginning of the season. He was riding with his Battlehawks, and the Battlehawks look every bit as good as they as they were promoted to be. Just a very, very well oiled machine as a unit, and just everything was clicking, everything was working. And I think when you have a dominant performance like that, you set yourself apart from everybody else. And yeah, I think looking at the teams now, looking at where everybody stands, I think now the Battlehawks are going to step up, and I believe they're about to kind of stake their claim as being the best. Right now, they look like the best. So, very dominant performance. The Showboats not looking good, not looking good right now. So we'll see how it goes. But dominant performance by the Battlehawks, looking like number one in the entire league right now. We'll see if it holds. That's the thing. If it holds, that's a different question, but we shall see.
You can find individual coverage for this. It'll be a real interesting week over there on the Showboats, the Captain's Log, hosted by our guy Brandon, and our newest show, Battle Talk. That's out on, I believe, Monday. It followed us last week, so be on the lookout for that as well. All here on the United Football Media. Moving on to, I'm sure, number 2 or probably number 1 in most power rankings, Stallions and Defenders in a game that saw a lot of interesting things. A lot of rain, a lot of air guitar, a lot of delays. It was bowling shoe ugly, a battle. 2 late field goals exchanged at the very end. The Stallions end up coming out on top of that exchange. They basically pulled the defenders on the defenders. Maybe this will be the week when Alex and Webb finally lose their minds over on the DC Defender show, because it was the same bowling shoe, ugly, mistake-riddled football that we've been seeing. But this week, the defenders weren't able to pull out the ugly win. Another week of Jordan Tiamu being under 55% passing. Tough look. Matt Corral, shockingly back in the game. I don't think any of us expected that after the masterclass that Adrian Martinez went on. I'm interested to see what kind of a explanation there might be behind that, but played a solid game. Ricky Person Jr., 5 yards of carry. The whole team had over 100 yards because Matt Corral was running the ball as well on read options. Over 100 yards, over 6 yards of carry for the team in general. Like I said, 2 top teams. It's no surprise they got the 2 best offensive lines. That ended up making the difference in a close and ugly game. Tay, what'd you think?
Yeah, so a little bit before the game, like a few days before the game, we saw the depth charts and we saw Matt Corral was the name the starter. That caught me off guard, but at the end of the day, they did win. So I mean, I guess there's the explanation right there. They still won the game. It definitely did catch me off guard. It surprised probably all of us, but they won. And like you said, it was just one of those back in the day games, like a lot of running the ball. Amari Rodgers did have that big 50-yard catch. That was probably one of my favorite plays of the week. Shout out to X. He said that at the beginning of the season. He said Amari Rodgers should be pretty good, in this offense and whatnot. But yeah, like it was just one of those kind of games, like one of those back in the day games. Each team ran the ball 25 plus times. Kelvin Harmon, he had a great game too. 5 catches, 93 yards, and a touchdown too. 45-yarder. The Stallions are just a better team. Like you should have the Stallions at the top of your power. Maybe not number 1, but they should be one of the top 2 teams. I think for everyone. Like the Stallions, they've shown it so far all season long. They're undefeated. Like so, if you still have the number 1, like you can have that argument too, because they haven't lost a game. But yeah, they don't look like the best team to me though. But they just somehow to manage to win games to end. Like they don't have they weren't dominant at all. But when it counted, they won the game. So yeah, I got Stallions number 2 on my power rankings.
Deion Kane still contributed as well, 3 catches. So that's another one of Axe's guys.
True, yeah. So, he caught both of those, yeah.
Axe, what'd you think, man?
Yeah, I'm still going to take the Stallions number 1 because only reason this game was close was honestly the weather, and they had 2 red zone fumbles. If they convert those into at least 12 points minimum, they win this game going away. So shout out to the defenders for showing up, playing well. They played a great game, but it was a lot of self-inflicted wounds that the Stallions made, and they still were able to overcome that. Matt Corral had an efficient game. Offensive line was a little bit shaky this week. Like the defenders were able to get a lot of pressure. That's one thing they have to clean up. But with Greg Williams' defense, you expect a lot of pressure to come through. They still are susceptible to giving up a lot of big pass plays, but it seems like their pass rush is pretty efficient. Still disappointed in the run game of the defenders. That's what's holding back. Cameron Harris had a fumble that changed momentum. So it was just like a couple moments. I don't know. Defenders just need a better run game. Tiamu needs to be a little bit more efficient. Chris Rowland had a nice return. He's one of the better special teams players in this league, and he had a receiving touchdown. Kelvin Harmon did make a lot of big catches down the stretch, a lot of contested catches. So hopefully he can continue to build on that. But the Stallions are just too much. Like I said, if they didn't have those self-inflicted wounds, they win this game by double digits. So I'm still taking them as the best team in this in the UFL. Hopefully they can get better fan support. Like we said before, they're a quality team. I understand the weather was bad on Saturday, but hopefully they can get better support. They're a good team.
True, like Missy Elliott, the Stallions were thriving in the rain. What'd you think?
I thought at first the delay was interesting, right? Because the delay kind of served as like their halftime, right? So I
Yeah,
thought that was
I
interesting.
do want to bring that up real quick because that was a wild swing of
Very,
momentum, or
yeah,
like it was just interesting because so what they did is they used it as the halftime time wise, but possession wise, they still so the Stallions kicked a field goal as time ran out on the second quarter, what was left of it, and then got the ball right back because it was halftime going into the
right.
third quarter. But there was no break. I was watching the game. They scored. I looked down at my phone and I'm doing something, and I look back up. I'm like, how did the Stallions have the ball back already? And it was because of the halftime. That was a crazy. I'm not second guessing it, but it was just a wild way that it worked out that they kicked the field goal and then automatically got the ball right back with no gap. That was wild. It was a wild part of that game.
Yeah, it was very confused. That was a very confusing thing to me. I was kind of watching it, kind of like what, like I wasn't expecting it. But I will say, I think I said this last week, right, about the defenders. About this was the show improve game for them to show, are they as good as we were hoping they would be at the beginning of the season or not? And they made some mistakes, as did the Stallions, but I don't know what I would come away with if I was someone, I don't know what I would come away with from this if I was a Defenders fan. I don't know what my takeaway would be. Like, we went against arguably the best team, and we were like right there with them, but you still lost. So it really doesn't matter. And like I think, like you said, Tiamu is still not. He's still not jumping off. He's still not jumping out the gym. Basically, he's still not doing what we expect. I don't say expected him, but we hoped he would be
Well,
able to do.
that's what I was going to wrap this up with. This segment is I want to ask Alex and Webb. I want to ask Ace and Webb on polar opposites. Is it time for us to see Jalen McClendon or high school football quarterback legend DeAndre Francois out there for the Defenders? I know
Maybe.
Tiamu was the king of the league last year and right up there for awards, but it has been atrocious. I think he's been under 55% completion every game. It has not looked good. You have a lot of potential, a lot of physical ability sitting on that bench. I'm interested to see how long this goes before we start at least seeing him get cycled into the game. He's lucky De'Aaron King ain't down there no more because that would definitely be they'd be getting pressed. Actually, look, you have a thought.
Yeah, one last thing. Shout out to Ramiz Ahmed, the kicker for the Stallions, who went 4 for 4 in the swirling rain, hitting 46 yarders, game winners, clutch kicks. So
he was just picked up this week. Yeah, amazing performance by that guy. Real great job out there. Amazing stuff. I think the next team that most people, and I think it's an interesting thing to look at. The next two teams down in power ranking, and a team we might be a little bit disappointed in how it went, but these Brahmas, man, they are. I don't think they are to be forgotten. Last week, I think some people's heads kind of went down a little bit. Maybe they weren't quite like that, like we thought, but they came back this week. That pass rush was incredible ferocity. Overall team, 5-6 sacks, really adding it up. And not just sacks, but it was like they were in the backfield on every single play. Yeah, 6 sacks on the game. They were in the backfield on every single play. The Panthers just could not get their footing underneath them. The Brahmas have had another receiver emerge in Smith, who had 7 receptions for 100 yards. John Trey Kirkland, our guy, another week of multiple receptions for over 100 yards. Next week's going to be week 5. We'll be halfway through this season. I think we'll all start to get an idea of like, okay, that guy's going to be in a camp in July. That guy's going to be in a camp in July. That guy's going to be in a camp in July. And I think high on that list for me so far is John Trey Kirkland, because this guy is contributing and uncoverable every single week for these Brahmas. I think the biggest question that we had coming in is could Quentin Dormady fill in for Chase Garbers, who was having an MVP type season? Dormady looked solid, not 100% a perfect replacement, but looked very good for being the first week he's been a starter. 270, a touchdown, 60% completion. Can't be mad at it. Got 2 separate receivers over 100 yards. On the other side of the ball, Wyatt Ray was out of control, could not be stopped, could not be blocked, was doing whatever he wanted, was getting pressure almost every play. We thought the Panthers had this offensive line situation a little bit fixed last week, and now they're back regressing to what it looked like against the Stallions, where that offensive line is standing out so much, as performing so poorly that it is almost single-handedly dragging them down to a team that could be a top 3 team. Because, man, this defense battled so hard to keep them in the game. They were still in it in the fourth quarter, despite the offense almost doing nothing, and that defensive line of the Brahmas having almost unlimited pressure. The defense fought so hard, kept them in the game. Kai Nakua with an amazing interception, playing center field, backing up, skied, ball hawked it near the end zone. It would have been a death blow touchdown that Kai Nakua snatched away, but it just wasn't enough. I think another thing to be hopeful for, as much as Tay might not be comfortable with it, EJ Perry went down. Danny Etling, I thought, looked fantastic, provided a spark, was throwing it all over, had to escape over and over and over and over. I said it in our group chat because, our guy Axe is a big FSU backer. I said he reminded me of Michael Vick against FSU in the national championship in 2000, whereas he was just getting no help, and he was avoiding tacklers and making plays and just doing everything you could possibly ever want a quarterback to try to do, and it just was not enough. I think the arrow is up for the Brahmas, and I don't know what the Panthers are going to do. They need to get this offensive line figured out. Brahmas with the win, 19-9. Tay, your thoughts?
Yeah, the Brahmas, their defense is something special. Just holding a team to 9 points like that, that's just unreal to do. Like, that's offensive players' dreams. Like, to
knocking all decade quarterback EJ Perry out of the game, right?
He just had a bad week, man. He'll be back. Don't even worry about that. I'm still a believer. But yeah, like they absolutely came to play. Like, they had by far and away the best defensive performance out of any team so far. This is probably the best defensive game of the season. Like, 9 points, that's special. Like, that's honestly incredible. Yeah, but for the Panthers, I wouldn't panic. I wouldn't panic. I think they just lost to the better team. Like, yeah, I did pick the Panthers, but they lost to the better team. That defense, that Brahmas defense, like, really impressed me this week. Yeah, the O-line, the Panthers, they do need to figure something out with the O-line, because, like, it just seems inconsistent. Like, last week it was good. Week before that it wasn't. This week it wasn't good. So I'm looking for some consistency in the O-line, and yeah, to the Brahmas side, yeah, their receiving core, like, their receiving core is special. Like, they do have some NFL talent at the receiving core. Yeah, John Shea Kirkland, he's one of them guys. Like, like you said, he gets open every single play. If you just watch him, like, he's always open, always in the right spot. But yeah, I think the Brahmas should be just fine. Like, moving forward, like, they didn't really miss a beat, especially with this defense. Like, just being able to rely on that. So yeah, don't panic on the Panthers, and the Brahmas are probably the biggest surprise of the season.
Axe, I think that these Brahmas got everything that you need to hang possibly with the Battlehawks. Justin Smith emerging, Jonte Kirkland doing his thing. If Quentin Dormady can kind of smooth out some rough edges, it's going to be trouble. What do you think?
Yeah, very impressive performance by the Brahmas. Dormady, one thing I like, he's not afraid to let it go and take chances. Like he'll let it go downfield. Defense very impressive. Jordan Williams once again impactful. Mosley, the safety, he had some big plays out there. So just very impressive performance by the defense, by the Brahmas in general. Panthers, I wouldn't panic. They still were able to keep the game close with a stronger team. Etling, we'll see what happens with Perry if he's going to be injured long term. It looked like it was a hamstring issue. They say hamstring or hip.
Etling, it looked like it was hamstring.
Okay. But yeah, I would relax on putting Perry back out
CJ,
there.
or you mean Perry, right? Perry.
Yeah.
Perry's the one that had the hamstring. Yeah.
Yeah. I relax on putting Perry back out there. I would let him rest a week or so and see what Etling can do next week.
Agreed.
Sims did get another touchdown, third touchdown in a row. So if they could figure something out, their offensive line. When he had time, he only missed like 3 or 4 passes. So he didn't have a terrible game. He had an interception. He did have a fumble because that offensive line just letting San Antonio run rampant in the backfield all game. So I'm not sure. I wouldn't panic if I'm the Panthers. But the Brahmas, once again, one of the better teams in the league. I would put them number 3, arguably number 2. So you can say they could be number 2, honestly. But great week from the Brahmas. They continue to prove us wrong. And great job.
Hey, great balance. I'm not mad at that, putting them at number 2. True. What do you think?
Impressive win by the Brahmas. The defense looks amazing. I am a little disappointed because I wanted to see the Panthers walk away with the win. Just the purposes, because I believe Tay picked the Brahmas to win, if I'm not mistaken. Think he picked the Brahmas?
No, he
He's
loves the
only one to
Panthers.
pick Panthers.
He's the Panther backer, man.
I'm gonna pick
So
the
that
Panthers
was me
every
and you
week.
then. Me and you, right? Me and you, Tay, we were on the
Yeah,
same
I'm picking
page
the
this week.
Panthers every week.
That'll never, that'll never happen again. But I think Axe and Eric, you guys picked the Brahmas. So who picked them? Somebody picked the Brahmas. I can't remember which one of
It
you
was me
guys
and Eric.
last week. Yeah, okay, so it was y'all two. Okay, so me and Tay was going at y'all. Okay. So I wanted the Panthers to win because I wanted my prediction to be right, but a lot of things went wrong for the Panthers that game. But obviously the Brahmas defense, swarming defense this week looks really good. Once again, hate to bring it back, but that plus 1,500 still don't look horrible right now.
They're still not gonna win. They're still not gonna win. They're a great team.
I don't think they're better than the Battlehawks. I don't think they're gonna, they don't think they're like gonna beat the Stallions or anything. But it looks a lot better right now. So I guess we'll see, right? I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see how these next couple weeks. We're really right now. We're in the thick of things, right? To where this is make or break for your season for a number of teams, and the Brahmas don't look like a break is in their future if they keep playing, playing the way they've been, playing. I mean, obviously the other week, not the best, not the best outcome, but for the most part, I feel like majority of what we've seen in these first 4 weeks have been very solid play, shocking to some extent. And so I'm anxious to see where they go from here. I know, we got some heavy games coming up for them in the next couple weeks. But as far as the Panthers, I hope this is not going to be a free fall. I'll say that. I don't want this to start their free fall. But there's a part of me that, once again, this is make or break time, hitting into week 5. It could be that. So I hope not, though.
Check out Brahma Bullpen, one of my favorites here on the United Football Media, as well as the podcast, PAWD, podcast with our guy Tugboat, heading that up every week. We finally got some Michigan Panthers coverage in here, which is great because we love the Michigan Panthers around here on United Football Media. Final game of the week, the Cheek Bowl, Roughnecks and Renegades. Roughnecks get their first win. Reed Sinnett really still coming along. 64% completion, got a touchdown, 191. Mark Thompson, he's finally back and was fairly productive for them today. Under 4 yards of carry, but still scored a touchdown, still being a difference maker. This Roughnecks defense playing like one of the best in the league, like what we expected them to be. The Renegades, things are looking real tough. Luis Perez finally had a bad game. You saw Sal Canella out there dropping wide open passes that would have been absolutely been a touchdown, house call. Just overall ugly, disappointing situation for the Renegades. The best I can say is, they started slow last year. Who knows? Maybe they run the table, end up 6-4. They have the players. The plays are there. We saw it. Like I said, Sal Canella wide open. There was nobody over the top. He would have been gone. Just dropped it. Overall, though, Roughnecks come up with the win, 17-9. Catch our guy Ace on the Roughnecks podcast. The guy is amazing, so talented. Get him now while you can get him without a subscription. Renegades, we have the Hell Raisers podcast here on United Football Media. Be on the lookout for that as well. He holds his teams accountable, the host of that show. The guy has a lot of fire. Going to be an interesting one this week on the Hell Raisers podcast. Cheek Bowl, what'd you think there, Tay?
Yeah, like this another elite defensive performance by the Roughnecks. Like, if you can hold a team to single digits, it's like a 95% chance you're gonna win that game. Like, just having that, a great defensive performance, and shutting the Renegades offense down. I would say, I mean, wasn't really much going for them. Only 3 first half points, 6 in the second half. Like, nothing really worked for them. The run game wasn't there for them, not whatsoever. Luis Perez, 54 completion percentage, 144. He turned the ball over with the interception, had a touchdown, but I would say that shutting someone down with the low completion percentage like that and turning the ball over. Yeah, like the Roughnecks completely came to play. And their offense wasn't like the Roughnecks weren't this great offensive team today. When we're recording today. Yeah, they weren't even all that. But the defense, like, again, just like the last game we were talking about, like, if you can hold a team to 9 points, you gotta win the game. Like Eric said, Mark Thompson with the touchdown. Not a whole lot of yards, but touchdown is a touchdown. One touchdown can change the game. Yeah, Reed Sinnett, I guess they got to keep going with him. They got their first win with him as a quarterback, and no need to switch it up. So I say going to next week, maybe they can get 2 in a row. So yeah, Reed Sinnett played a solid game. Yeah, like I said, Roughnecks played great defensively. That's how you win games.
Still plenty of games left. They made a lot of mistakes. Maybe they could turn the thing around. Axe, what you think today?
Yeah, you can definitely build off the defensive performance that the Roughnecks had to hold the Renegades to 193 yards of total offense. Like, that's very impressive. If I'm the Renegades, though, I'm looking to see what Lindsey Scott Jr. has to offer as the backup to Luis.
Wow.
I'm going to at least see because, like, 1-for-1 pass and 21 yards. Last week he had a rushing touchdown. So I think slowly they might be integrating him into the offense. Like, at this point, you're 0-4. Why not? Like, you get to the halfway point, you go 0-for-5. What's the point of still rolling out Perez?
Oh, because they ain't been losing because of him.
I understand it's not all on him, but
Lindsey Scott gonna play defense.
I feel what you're saying, but sometimes you might have to try something to mix things up. Like, you got teams, the Stallions, they've been doing 2 quarterbacks, and they're undefeated. Like, almost everybody's had 2 quarterbacks so far. So as the only winless team left in the United Football League, like, I don't know. I'm just saying, if they go 0-for-5, I won't be surprised to see Lindsey Scott Jr. Just my opinion. Maybe it's a hot take, in my opinion.
True, what'd you think of bum fights today?
Yesterday
as we post. Today as we're recording.
Yes, today's recording, and then so I don't take anything from this game personally. because somebody had to lose and somebody had to win. And as good as the Roughnecks looked on the defensive end, the offense still leaves a lot of questions. And I think with that, we're talking about the Roughnecks hosting arguably the best team in the league going forward. I don't see them going from 1-3 to 2-3 on this team. And you fall to 1-4, your season's pretty much done. So I think this was a much needed win, maybe for morale, maybe for we finally got a win. All right, it matters none. It does not matter. I will say once again though, great job defensively. As far as the Renegades, clock's ticking. Your season, I fully believe the Renegade season will be over next week because they got
it's a good segue. That's the first thing we're going to talk about.
Exactly.
Backs against the wall, just like the Showboats, I believe, were this week. The Renegades will be next week, 7:00 Eastern on Saturday at home. They're going against the big bad Brahmas. And like True said, man, 0-5. It's tough. On the other hand, if you get this win against a powerful team and just get one and have a chance to run the table going after that, maybe that's the spark that turns things around, gets you some confidence, gets things clicking. A lot of different ways. I don't think anybody's going to be brave enough, though. I'm going with Brahmas. What's your pick, Axe?
I'm 100% going with the Brahmas. The way they air it out, like Kirkland's probably going to have another 100-yard game. I'm rolling with the Brahmas, about double digits.
Whew. Tay, what about you?
I'm going with the Renegades, get their first win.
Oh, he's a Renegade and he is going with the Renegades. Please explain yourself, sir.
I just think they just figure it out. Like I just think Arlington figures it out at home. And I've got the Brahmas struggling with the backup quarterback this week. I know it worked last week, but I just got some kind of slump going for week 5. So I'm going.
Sometimes there is some regression after the first game.
Yeah, So I'm definitely.
Team gets a little bit of tape. Maybe that will help that susceptible Arlington Renegades secondary. True, I think this makes it all the more confident that you are already going to pick the Brahmas, but now that Tay has picked the Renegades, there's no chance.
Absolutely, I'm not picking the 0-4 team. No, I'm not picking the 0-4 team. I'm not picking them at all. Like I said, I think the Renegades. It is unfortunate because there was a little bit of hope that this would have been a good season for them, but I think this is. I think that Brahma. If you struggle with the Roughnecks defense, I think you're going to struggle with the Brahmas defense. So with that, I'm absolutely picking the Brahmas.
Last rites for the Arlington Renegades season might be coming up. They might need to play that old Undertaker funeral march, have the gong going before the Brahmas come out for this one, because it might be time to bury the Renegades after this week. We'll see. Stallions and Roughnecks, kind of the same situation. Roughnecks are back up against the wall. Great, they got their first win, but they desperately need another win, and they're going against the team that most people have, number 1. I think it's another fairly easy pick. I'm going Birmingham Stallions. What about you, Tay?
Nah, I'm going with the underdogs this week. Yeah, I think I see a Reed Sinet masterclass. 253 touchdowns. I think I kind of gave it away earlier. Yeah, I think they'll win 2 in a row. So yeah, I'm going with Houston Roughnecks at home. Going with the underdog this week.
Stallions kind of underperformed this week. Houston Roughnecks are getting it figured out. Okay. Axe, you look a little surprised. Who are you going with?
I'm flabbergasted here. This is outrageous. So honestly, with the defensive pressure that the Stallions get, they're going to be in that Roughnecks backfield a lot. They're going to put a lot of pressure on Sinet. Now I expect a double-digit win. And I also expect the Stallions offense, as long as it's not raining, I expect their offense to be explosive. A lot of big plays to Deion Kane, Benjamin Victor, Amari Rogers, as long as he's not concussed. Because I saw at the end of the game, he had a little situation. As long as he's cleared to play, he'll probably be effective. Too much Stallions. Stallions double-digit win, in my opinion.
That is Saturday night, 7:00, down there in Houston. Our girl Kennedy will be out there cheering them on. Our guy Ace probably be on site doing some research, also doing his thing. True.
You don't even got to ask me.
Yeah.
You ain't got to ask me. Like it's not even, let's not even do that. I just like the Sunday games are going to be much more competitive, I think. Well, one of them.
At least one of them.
Yeah, one of them.
XFL championship rematch. St. Louis, well, no, what we all thought was going to be, and then ended up not quite being what was projected to be the XFL championship game last year. Didn't quite happen. We got the Battlehawks and the Defenders. I see the Battlehawks continuing to heat up, mowing right through the Defenders. Honestly, the Defenders are kind of a mess right now. They eked out a couple wins, very lucky circumstances. They looked crazy the other night, and the Battlehawks are just continuing to build. Now, what I will say is I have been monitoring the seat map for this game, and it looks like Rowdy Audi is going to be rocking this week. Boisterous environment. If anybody remembers the XFL game last year where the Battlehawks came to DC, it was a crazy game that the Defenders ended up pulling out with a great crowd, rowdy environment, bunch of fights on the field. It was insane. Probably the funnest game we had last year in the XFL. I'm picking Battlehawks as they're starting to heat up, and I think they want a little bit of revenge from that matchup because there was a lot of tough, hard feelings coming out of that game, and I think they want to go in there and shut this crowd up. But this could be where the Defenders get right and use that rowdiness to their advantage and turn the season around and start being the Defenders we all expected them to be. Awesome, interesting matchup at noon on Sunday. Axe, your thoughts?
I feel like the Battlehawks are going to set a tone early, airing it out. Like I said, I haven't been impressed with the Defenders' pass defense all season. They've given up a lot of big plays, a lot of 200-yard performances. So due to their bad pass defense this season, I'm going to go with the Battlehawks. It'll probably be a single-digit game, but I just think the Defenders' pass defense has been too poor this season, and that's a strength for the Battlehawks. So I'm rolling with St. Louis.
Tay, your pick?
Definitely going with the Battlehawks. On the road, getting it done pretty easily. I think they'll win by 10.
Okay, taking revenge for last year's nasty treatment they received there. I'll just say that. True, your pick. Are we going clean sweep Battlehawks?
Based on what I've seen the last couple weeks, absolutely. Battlehawks. Defenders just a disappointment this year to me, honestly. I had high hopes for them, and it could just be because they're like the closest team to Maryland, basically. But I just had high hopes. I thought they would have shown proof both on the offensive and defensive end, and they haven't. Battlehawks looking great right now, so absolutely going with the Battlehawks.
Who in this last matchup? This could be
you don't even need to ask me who I'm going with.
This could be a bottom of the barrel moment because it's the Michigan Panthers, it's the Memphis Showboats. The Showboats are spiraling out of control, taking on water right now, and they got the big bad Panthers coming into town. That big time front seven, that big time defense going against this almost basically non-existent pass protection for the Showboats in a Liberty Bowl that I do not anticipate having a ton of people in it. So you got this a strong possibility, I'd say, of this hometown team getting their butts whooped in front of empty stands. Tough times. I hope it works out better. I know True doesn't hope it works out better, but I do.
Absolutely
but I'm going Panthers. What about you there, Axe?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Panthers. I feel like their defense is gonna wreak a lot of havoc. Maybe Cookis, if he's healthy next week, him and Daywood Davis and Vinny Papali might be able to get something going. But I don't know. I just think the Panthers defense is too impactful. I think they might have their occasional 1 or 2 big plays on offense. As long as they don't turn the ball over against Memphis, I believe they should win. It depends on if Etling or Perry's playing as well. They have Etling. I think they'll have a chance.
Oh wow.
I mean, I would take Etling over injured Perry, in all honesty.
I would.
I think they'll have a chance with EJ Perry as well. Hey, your pick.
They have the best chance with EJ Perry. Yeah, if EJ Perry plays, I'm definitely going to the Panthers. But if he doesn't, nah. So I'm gonna predict him to play. So yeah, I'm going Panthers for sure. Yeah, just a better team.
True. I don't know if we need to go to you for a lot of analysis on this one, but I do know it's probably going to be your most enjoyed game of the week.
Well, I'm looking forward more to the Battlehawks and the Defenders game. But if the Panthers go out there, mollywop, stomp out the Showboats, my day will be made. I like I said, I mean, honestly, it's not like the Panthers are like super better than anyone in the league. Maybe better than Renegades, but I mean, to me, this is actually a flip a coin game. But I'm not going to flip a coin, and I'm just going to always ride with the team that is the opposite side of the Showboats. And so far, really have not, really hasn't steered me wrong.
Been
so
working
far
out
this
for
year.
you, all right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to continue with that, and I'm going to go with the Panthers. But like I said, this could be a game that the Showboats somehow turn it around. I just don't see it happening, and I don't want it to happen. I hope it don't happen. Yeah, there we go. Hope it doesn't happen.
Check out Brahma Bullpen. Check out Hellraisers podcast. Stallions Run, Buck and Scout for the Stallions. Ace with the Roughnecks pod. Battle Talk. Ace and Webb over on the DC Defenders. The podcast, PAWD cast with our guy Tugboat. Memphis Showboats. The Captain's Log with Brandon. We also got the betting show with Brandon. Polar Opposites with Ace and Webb. I am telling you right now, no one out there when it comes to the UFL is doing it like United Football Media. So check out all of those shows. Nobody's doing it like us. We will be back next Monday, back and better than ever. This is United Football Media. Tell me about it.